Life is not about finding yourself, life is about building yourself. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Make it a rule to never give your child a book you wouldn't read yourself. If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they will kill you. An intelligent person adapts himself to the world, an unreasonable person keeps trying to adapt the world to himself, therefore all progress depends on an unreasonable person. Those who can't change their minds can't change anything. Youth is wasted on the young. There are two tragedies in life, one is to lose the heart's desire, the other is to get it. A liar's punishment, not because he is not trusted, but that he cannot trust others. The single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has already happened. Success does not consist in never making a mistake, but in never making the same mistake a second time. A pessimist is a person who thinks everyone is just as bad as himself, and hates them for it. You use a mirror to see your face, you use art to see your soul. The play was a huge success, but the audience failed miserably. After all, the wrong path always leads somewhere. Hate is cowardly revenge for being bullied. Dancing is an upright expression of horizontal desire. The person who writes about himself and his own time is the only person who writes about everyone and all the time. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. Optimists create airplanes, pessimists create parachutes. Better keep yourself clean and bright. You are the window through which you must see the world. You don't stop laughing when you get old, you get old when you stop laughing. When something is funny, search carefully to find the hidden truth. All great truths begin as blasphemy. Freedom means responsibility, that's why most men are afraid of it. Without art, the harshness of reality would make the world unbearable. The liquor is chloroform, which allows the poor to endure life's painful operations. The most tragic thing in the world is a genius man who is not a gentleman. When a fool does something he is ashamed of, he always declares that it is his duty. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you want, you will do what you imagine, and finally you create what you want. We learn from experience that humans never learn anything from experience. Silence is the most perfect expression of ridicule. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Don't do to others as you would want them to do to you. Their tastes may not be the same. Life is not a fleeting candle for me, it is a kind of beautiful torch that I hold for now. And I want to make it burn as brightly as possible, before passing it on to future generations. Doing what needs to be done may not make you happy, but it will make you great. We don't stop playing because we get old, we get old because we stop playing. As long as I have a will, I have a reason to live. Satisfaction is death. Choose silence of all virtues, for by it you hear the imperfections of others, and hide your own imperfections. I have never resisted temptation, because I have found that things that are bad for me do not tempt me. Don't waste your time on social questions. What happens to poor people is poverty, what happens to rich people is nothingness. You have learned something, It always feels at first as if you have lost something. If you can't appreciate what you have, you better get what you can value. A gentleman is one who puts more into the world than he takes out. We have no more right to consume happiness without producing it than to consume wealth without producing it. The only service a friend can truly provide is to keep your courage up by holding up a mirror where you can see your glorious self-image. Imitation is not only the most sincere form of flattery, it is the most sincere form of learning. It's dangerous to be sincere unless you're stupid too. It is only in books that mankind knows the perfect truth, love, and beauty. We become wise not by remembering our past, but by taking responsibility for our future. The only way to avoid misery is to not have enough free time to wonder whether you are happy or not. There is always danger for those who are afraid. I didn't know what I was thinking until I wrote it. Independence, that's middle-class blasphemy. We all depend on each other, our every soul on earth. Is life but a series of inspired follies? The difficulty is finding them to do. Never miss an opportunity, it doesn't come every day. The people who succeed in this world are the ones who get up and look for the state they want, and if they can't find it, create it. You cannot have power for good without having power for evil too. Even mother's milk feeds assassins as well as heroes. In an ugly and unhappy world, the richest people can buy nothing but ugliness and unhappiness. A man with common sense and good taste, which means a man without originality or moral courage. Hold on like a man, even if you feel like an ass. If you take too long in deciding what to do with your life, you will find that you have done it. If history repeats itself, and the unexpected always happens, how incapable of humans to learn from experience. There is no secret that is better kept than the one that everyone guesses. I'm afraid we have to make the world honest before we can honestly tell our children that honesty is the best policy. The best way to get your point across is by entertaining. Men are wise in proportion, not to their experience, but to their capacity for experience. If you teach someone something, he will never learn. Only on paper has humanity not attained glory, beauty, truth, knowledge, virtue, and eternal love. He who never hopes will never despair. Everything happens to everyone, sooner or later if there is enough time. Would the world be created if the Maker was afraid to cause trouble? Making life is creating trouble. There is only one way to get out of trouble, and that kills things. Most people go to their graves with their music in them.